She's leaking now. We got to fix that. Well, that's not good. This wasn't supposed to go like this. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it just started doing that. You're probably wondering, what the crap was I doing right there? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I just got them washing the cots. Polishing and washing these go-karts that break my heart every time I sit in them. When you typically do that, you can't just leave your engine sitting, ladies and gentlemen. Especially if you're like me, where you only race once, maybe twice a month. Gums up the carburetors. If the carburetor ain't happy, the motors is not happy, my friend. So what I like to do after I wash the kart, not only just to kind of dry the engine up, but to clean it up, cleanse its soul, cleanse its system. We give it some of that Jesus juice. It's just some weed eater gas, okay? 4-cycle, 2-cycle, 3-cycle, 2-cycle, 2-cycle fuel, 50-to-1 ratio. You can buy this at Ace Hardware. You can mix it up yourself. Gets the crap out the engine, lubes everything up, and at the end, I like to take, obviously, as you've seen in the video, some of the WD-40s, okay? Smog out the carburetor with it. I cleanse the carb at the end. After I pull the fuel line, next thing you know, your engine's ready to go for when you race again next month. One thing I've been suffering, it's been a little free on entrance. Been a little snug on the exits. You know, it's just not wanting to rotate. We've got to figure out where the issue lies with that. Hasta luego. No tomatoes on my sandwich, please. Man, that sparkle shines. Come on, body, don't rip on me and break when I'm just taking you off the go-kart. Take it easy, take it easy. Today, we are giving the kart more chiropractic adjustment, a little more spine on the right front. Caster, well, that's how far your kingpin leans back. More angle, well, that's more weight transfer. More front bite, more dynamic cross. It helps the kart rotate. Basically, it's spicy seasoning for your front end. This is science, folks. We don't need a simulator when we got Home Depot. Long story short, this will be a step forward, I believe, for the kart. Probably not the total fix. As y'all know, tires is everything in a kart. And if you miss on them, it doesn't really make a crap what your kart's got done to it. I'm not going to tell you the degree spindle I currently have on, but what I will tell you is I'm going 2 more degrees in my right front spindle. What that's going to do, give the kart more traction. It's going to load up the right front more. It's going to give you more camber, I guess you could say, as you go throughout the turn. It's going to give you a lot more bite on entrance, which seems to be where I'm lacking. Now, give or take, it'll make the car not steer as good on exit, but I believe a lot of the reason I'm not steering as good on X as I should be is because I'm not entering the corner so well. We got a race in a couple weeks, saying this is going to be a small step. May also mess with some numbers on the kart, explain what they do, but first step, it's going to be the right front spindle. 2 more degrees. This should ultimately plant the right front more into the turn. It's going to give it more dynamic cross. And it's just going to give it more steering control on entry, which if you can't get into the corner, partner, you ain't going to get out of her. And it's a simple change. You're talking 1 kingpin bolt and then a Heim. Boom. You can change it out. Making a spindle change at the track on degrees, it's not something you want to do. It's going to change your camber. You're going to have to check all that too. That's why we're choosing to do it at the shop. I just realized we've got a small problem here. We don't have a spindle because we had a spare spindle in this degree that we're looking for. My rod ends are completely shot, which I got those on the way. I've also got some kingpin bolts on the way. So really, to even spend any more time on this until those parts arrive is kind of just a wasted time. And they'll be in probably tomorrow. So, but in the meantime, we do got some other issues and we got to build something. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to ruin the surprise that's going to be coming up in a future video. But you see, we got like this cart here, and then we got Kaz's cart right there, but behind that cart is some kind of other cart. And if you can tell, it's sitting on a ATV, which is like an off-road utility vehicle, is what they is pretty much. Well, it's just sitting on that. We don't have another cart stand. It does need a cart stand. So we're just gonna build one $200. I can barely afford a set of tires at this point, much less a $200 cart stand, okay? This is where some redneck engineering comes in. Just get her done kind of stuff. You know, we just make it happen. We'll do something like this. Yeah. That is a long piece of metal. As I'm gonna copy it, then I'm gonna paste it. Building stuff is fun. It's fun. Save yourself a lot of money. More or less what would have cost me 200 bucks is now about to cost me probably like $80. Saving $120 at least. Let's get the work. Let's get the cutting. You know, it's crazy. If I were to buy one of these, like I said, it costs around 200 bucks. For some reason, I enjoy building these things, but everything in the trailer I built myself. And kind of always been a little bit fabricating, so it's fun doing this stuff. And for those that do care, maybe gonna build one yourself, this is 1x1 16 gauge square tubing. That's what the whole thing's gonna be built out of. Make sure I'm marking down right. Yes, I did. 24 stick later, 24 foot stick later, you got about 4 foot left. So approximately probably 20 feet of material is what you're gonna need as far as the tubing goes. Now the hard part, well, we gotta build it. Let's get out of here. You ain't done us good enough service lately. Let's sit up front of the bus, Billy, okay? Beat it. Man, this tape measure, boy, I love that tape measure, but that I lose that sucker like it is going out of stop. There it is right there. Excuse me. One down, one more to go. Boom, shaboom, done-a-roo. About welder to the table. We drilled her, y'all. Drilled her down. Now I know one of these goes inside. Should be, I'll be dipped. There's supposed to be a washer in between there. Is there enough space for a washer? If we even have a washer. All right, let's see if we can do this. Oh, that's hot. Go in your home. That's it. Boom. Now which one's the bottom? That's our bottom. Let's just hope we got a nut. Nothing ever goes my way. Give me a second, guys. We did have some in the trailer. You can use that size for a weight bolt. So I do keep a few equipped in the trailer. Thank goodness. Man, this is going great. These are what's gonna lock the lift open. You'll weld one on one, and you'll weld one on the other. So when it opens, it stops when it hits your bung. Cause you ain't got no bungs, hun. You know what I'm saying? Not really, neither do I. Hopefully not burn my freaking thumb off. Definitely should have chose to wear some gloves. Ow. I don't know, I feel like that opened up quite a bit on me. Cause that does not look right all of a sudden. Holy macaronis. Oh no, this is the top. Whew. Scared me. Oh, yeah, we're still good. Let me tell you something, friends. $1 saved where I come from, that is $1 made, and that's the bottom line. things are going great. I could lie to y'all and say things went perfect. Try not to lie. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. What I'm saying is I welded these bungs on originally backwards, and as soon as I set the stand up, it just collapsed down. I was gonna lie. I was not gonna tell y'all because I like to try to like keep the standard, but I just can't do it. I had to cut those off and then redo it. And sometimes you mess up. So we've got that out the way. We got our axle in the rear. Now we've got to weld these plates up front for the front casters. Put a couple little brackets on top, little paint, and we'll have ourselves a stand for that cart that you're real curious about. We'll get a little bit, let's just get a little bit closer, just a little bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. And I do have this pretty well at the ride height, I guess you could say. It might have a little much cross in it. Ride height should be about right. So theoretically should be able to throw these up and they should be perfect. Come now you little booger. Now we'll put this little bung in there. If you are a young lady or gentleman and you're thinking of a career to get into, you don't really like college, okay? School's for fools, okay? Just kidding. Looking to get into any sort of trade, okay? Welding, plumbing, electrical, AC is a really good one to get into, or electricity in general. I went with the welding trade. I was pipe fitter for quite a while. I made a lot of money at a very young age going through a trade school. With AI coming around and all these other things, that's going to be one of the last occupations, and the world needs more badasses, okay? Be a badass. Nothing wrong with it, you know? Hold this right there without burning our little fingers. And just a couple doodads on the ends. This is a doodad. Okay, that's what we do here. My hands are nasty. I'm not real keen on wearing gloves. If I could race without gloves, I would. For go-karts, you can't get by with it. But anyways, look at my hands. I did go with orange. Why did I go with orange? Because if you've ever raced go-karts, you understand when you take your stand to the grid, you've got about a 10% chance of actually going back with that stand. People are thieves. It's what they do. They steal things. They know it's not their stand, but their stand's tires are busted up or it's a little bent and they want your stand. Why do they do that? Because they're pieces of crap. It's happened to me quite a few times, so I always try to add some sort of detail to my stand, whether it's bright rubber where the cart sits or some crazy orange paint, because I don't like losing my stands. That's all I'm saying. We'll just lay it on thick right out the gate. Hell with all that 2-3 coats. I don't care about the runs. I run all over the place, okay? Run off the racetrack. Run it too hard going to the turn. I've been getting lectured by a few of y'all lately. Y'all think I suck, don't you? Believe it or not, at one time I've won a race. Believe it or not, okay? I've been out the game for a while and I've been struggling, but it ain't the driving. I can grant you that. Kart ain't been right. I'm blaming it on the go-kart. They're cheating. These other people are cheating, every one of them except for me, and that's where I'm lacking. When I get there, I want a formal apology from everybody that's doubted me. Just going to throw that out there as well. Thanks, God bless. That's a little hot, so it's boiling the paint. It's almost like powder coat. I probably should at least clean this with like some brake cleaner or something, because it's got a few ugly looking spots where the paint is just not wanting to stick. But go Gators. That's why I went with orange. If I could get blue tires, I would. If you're putting this much time into building yourself a stand, definitely prep it, because I've got some nastiness. I don't care. I'm a Billy Bomb, kind of a cornbreader, okay? I've heard the name calling. I've been called it all, brother, and I love it. So I've kind of got a reputation I got to live up to, so I can't ever do anything quite 100%, but 75 is pretty good. I ran out of orange paint, but we got most of it, so it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Got myself for the axle. I know I didn't explain that, but it's just 5/8 coal roll, little stick from Tractor Supply. You can either weld a washer on the end of the tubing, or you can just, you know, drill a hole in some flat metal and cut it out and weld it to the end. But you got to get it in. I know it's going to go in there. Come on, you little. Why are you doing this to me? Not in front of the camera. Now you went in earlier. There we go. Throw some nice Carter key through here. Did any of you guys race this past weekend, or I guess this weekend, whatever? Blueberry? Anybody do that? That's where I was supposed to race. I'll be honest with you though, sometimes you just gotta take a break. Figure out what you're doing wrong and the performances are not good. So I needed a break. We are going to go back strong to high rev, and I don't want to give too much information on that. That's like I said, there's going to be a lot of news coming out in this next video, so you guys look forward to that. And I just saved myself a cool 160 bucks. I'm trying to add this up, how much I have in this. I bought these casters from Harbor Freight. I would like to think I have no more than $35 on all 4 tires on the stand. The metal's about $20. I've realistically got no more than $55 to $60 in this thing. Who wants cart stands when I'm getting to? If you're in Florida and you'd like a cart stand, give me a call, because I promise you I will build you one cheaper than anybody that you're gonna buy one from. And you see the work, guys, okay? We'll use a little better paint. I'll prep the surface a little better. I'm not gonna lie, this is mine, so I don't have to do that. Gee willikers. Look at that mobility. Watch this right here. Watch this right here. That's the tornado right there. But she's done, somewhat level. I'm happy with it. And like I said, I've got like 60 bucks in this thing. So that just saved me towards a set of tires. Probably a 3-legged dog. Taking sponsors, just throwing that out there, okay? So fast forward, about 3 hours later, after getting a nice hot shower, thinking I was done for the days, okay? The UPS man rolls up, beating on the door. Our parts came in so we can finish up the spindle change with the more degree, which is gonna plant the cart more on entrance, which is hopefully gonna settle us down on the center and let us be a rocket coming out the corner. Oh, these are Kimball West. Look at that. Well, that's like a good brand, but Kimball West is typically a good brand. You know, I usually complain about the hum, so maybe this is a little better product. Either way, let's get these on the tie rods so we can make the spindle change and just, I don't know, be done with this. Now that we do have our Heims here, which is nice, and I'm not so sure these are not the same Heims. I think even though they came from Kimball West, I still think they're pretty crappy Heims because there's still just a little play in that. I know a little play don't hurt, but you know, why should there be any? You know what I mean? Either way, we got a slot right here on the tie rod. It's a 5/8. I'm sorry, it's a 9/16. You got a jam nut here. You got a right-handed rod in on one side, then you got a left-handed rod in on the other side. Your passenger side here all the way out is a right-handed thread. I'm not going to sit here and take the tie rod off and place it in something, get exact measurements, because that's what I got my plates for. But what I do like to do is once I get the jam nut broke loose, 30 minutes later of unscrewing this thing out, go ahead and get my new rod in, and I'll just kind of half behind, just get this jam nut down to about the same spot. At least, you know, kind of get me kind of somewhat close. We'll check it with toe plates and find true perfection. Dang. Where is my never squeeze? There it is. Sometimes we get a little forgetful, okay? One thing I should have pointed out, always use some never squeeze. It's really called never seize, but I enjoy calling it never squeeze. Especially anything aluminum or stainless at that fact. Will actually do it faster than aluminum. You want to use some anti-seize. Preferably the silver, copper works fine too. And one drop of this, you could pretty well paint an entire house, so it doesn't take much is what I'm getting to. It's a good thing they make them about 1.5 inches long. It's not like they could have went any shorter with them. Instead of taking that one all the way out, I'll just unwind it and paint it. These tabs are only welded on one side. That way when you tighten it, it collapses tight to it. But you know, I don't know. You know. Now we can proceed to throw our slightly more degreed spindle on the right side, hook the rest of the rod ends up, and then boom, we'll check the toe. It's a fun evening. Typically, especially if you're at the track, in a hurry getting the spindle off, you take a big chance of losing all your washers that's in between the Heim and the L block here. One thing you can do to make this process a lot easier, is this upper heim. If you'll just back off one side of the heim, what I mean by that is hold a wrench on one side, do not let that side turn. Break loose on the other side, keeping this one in the same position. You now made it where this right here, this heim is a lot looser, giving you a lot more play, and ultimately makes it a lot easier to take your spindle out, like so. See all that gap I got now? And bearings actually want to come out of this one. And I'm going to check this kingpin bolt, make sure I don't see no noticeable bends on it. So I did feel like after that race, I took a pretty hard lick, and I think I'm just going to go and change it. I've got the new bolts, why not change it? That last race at Callahan at the very end, whenever I went to make a pass on somebody and kind of got plowed down into twice, same individual, it is what it is. The cart went to steering like crap afterwards. I don't see nothing noticeable that the right front spindle is bent. Typically you will see at the weld or on the arm itself paint chipping or noticeable bend, or even in the kingpin bolt. I did not notice either or. But just to play it safe, plus to try to get to my theory that I'm trying to settle the cart down on entrance, I'm just going to go ahead and change it. Only thing I'm doing with going 2 degrees more is, first things first, I'm going to plant the right front more on entry. It's also going to give it more dynamic cross through the turn, and it's going to settle the go-kart down on entry. Now, it's not going to cut theoretically as good as the spindle that was currently on it on exit, but I feel like the cart was been lately so ill handling on entrance and get from underneath me that it doesn't really matter. I like the Charger corner. I feel like I've always liked the Charger corner, and this should definitely help for my driving style, I believe. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I'm wrong a lot more than I'm right. Just throw that out there. Oh God, see, don't lose these washers. Can we get it in? Yes, we can. I can spin the kingpin bolt. Lovely. Now we'll go back to this. You got to tighten back the nut that you loosen, the side that you loosen. On my case, I loosened the very outside, so now I'm going to tighten it back in position. Theoretically, my camera should go back to whatever it was prior to loosening that. Bada bing, bada boom. Our front end is done. Let's get our plates and see how square we are. Okay, I did realize what I did wrong there. For some reason, I got backwards talking to y'all, and I put all my rod ends all backwards. I think I had this one on top and this one on bottom, then I had this on bottom over there. I made a mistake, but I found the mistake before I went any further. That's all I wanted to throw out there before y'all start henpecking me, commenting on there with your keyboards, calling me out. I fixed a mistake, so you might just go and rewind. Go ahead and backspace all that out of there. Alrighty then. Just like in one of our last previous videos, when it comes to me doing the toe, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, I'm obviously by myself here, so I will put a camber gauge on my left front spindle. I throw a little stand back here. This case I don't have the body on, so I don't even need to tape a pocket level to this end. I can just slap it right against the wheel, and I did put a right rear on here just to simply get it out further. Make sure that the level is touching the face of the front and back of the wheel square. And we'll come up front here, and we're going to measure. So I'm going to start off on the back side. I'm at 4 5/16. Now I'm going to roll this around. I'm not just going to go directly to the other hole, because if this has any sort of warp, like I said, it could be off. Okay, so just flip it. You know, just flip it on over. Dude, that's insane. That's exactly 4 5/16. I'm perfectly square on the left side. Okay, so now that we got our left side square, like before, I'm going to toe my right front a 16th out in the front. And last time, a few of you keyboard warriors got upset about that, okay? You didn't understand where I was coming from with that. Hey, you're going left, you should toe it out to the left because you're turning left. Well, if you've ever seen the movie Cars...
Turn right to go left. Yes! Thank you!
Okay? What I'm saying is, my theory and some other people's theory on this is, when you're going down the straightaway, and you're towed to the left, you're scrubbing speed. You're naturally scrubbing speed. You're scrubbing the tire in a sense. With it towed out to the right, it just makes it a little, you're an offset cart, it kind of helps balance the cart going down the stretch. That's my theory on it. Am I right? I don't know. Maybe you're right, but in my opinion, I'm right. That's the way I'm going to do it. So that being said, I'm going to shoot straight across to the back side. You can only imagine how far off this is. 31 3/16. I'm now going to flip, use the same 2 holes. So now we're just going to move that one roughly 31 3/16. And let's see if we're at 31 1/8 back here. It's exactly 31 1/8. Exactly 31 3/16. So it makes me a 16th toed out on the front, which is what I'm looking for. I do know this is accurate. If you got yourself a good set of straight plates and you use the same hole, like I'm saying, kind of go at this theory, you should be just the same as if you would have used a laser. How do I know that? Well, because we scale the cart every time, no matter what, when I get with Kaz, and he has a laser. And my toe plates are always dead nuts with the laser, so that tells me the toe plates work, which also make it nice because you can do this on the stand. Unlike camber or other things that requires you to be in the cart on a level ground, you can do this on the stand. Why can you do that? How? That makes no sense. Well, because there's no suspension in the front end. If you got everything is solid and there's no play, it shouldn't matter whether you're on the ground, whether you're on the stand or whatever, toe is toe. And that's all I know. That does work because I've checked it on lasers. Okay, so you can save yourself $400, get yourself some toe plates. Facts are facts. If you don't believe me, just check it yourself. You don't have to believe me. Maybe I'm lying. Find out for yourself. I don't know what to tell you. It's about that time. It's getting late, believe it or not. It's about that time to make it to Springfield, you know. Spring for the mattress, field for the sheets. I sure do appreciate every single one of y'all that tuned in to this week's episode. My next race is going to be at High Rev Speedway. That's near Hira, Georgia. They are running 1,000 or 1,500 to win in Clone Heavy. There's going to be some monies in the limiteds, which we're going to get to that on the episode prior to hopefully going to that race. And I can't wait to be there. I haven't ran there many years. I hope to see y'all there. I'm not going to stay down long, okay? I'm not going to lie. I've been in the dumps over this last few runs, but I've been doing my homework, going to make some changes. I think I'm going to stick with the same tire chemical program, but maybe try a different approach on the tires, age and whatnot, you know. As always, appreciate y'all. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I want to take this time to thanks to all our supporters out there. Other than you guys, I want to say thanks to you guys at first, because without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Second off, I want to say thanks to A&M Fiberglass, Konvict Art, Shantytown Hot Rods, 71 Trophy Club. Okay, guys? Lake Area Small Engine, and also Colson Pageant, Mike Pageant with Tornado Engines. They supplied us with the limited, and they got some big news coming up for us. God bless. Have fun at the races. Be sure to hit the like and drop a comment. Peace. You guys are still here? Beat it. Scram. I mean, can you not catch the notes? It's getting a little weird at this point. I mean, I appreciate you and all, but come on. Get out of here.